matches in so many different ways, and it's going to be a battle in that wide areas, the services and the availability to make those far post runs.
Last time Monterey Bay were here, Sam Gleadle scored for them against Louisville. It's going to be interesting to see if the Seasiders can do it again here at Lynn Family Stadium and pick up a victory. But it's been a fortress here in Louisville all season. Lou City will certainly hope to keep that intact tonight. The kickoff from Kentucky is coming up on the other side of this break. Greetings, everybody, and a warm welcome to you from beautiful Louisville, Kentucky, on a big night in the USL Championship. Louisville City plays host to Monterey Bay FC tonight. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew, happy to have you along for what promises to be another wild ride tonight in the USL Championship. Louisville City coach are second in the East. They're still pushing to get higher in the Players' Shield battle.
Yeah, continue to put pressure on Charleston Battery and make this a two-team race for the Players' Shield.
Battery right now are battling with the Rowdies. We'll keep you up to date on that game as we get further along in tonight's proceedings. For Monterey Bay, they're holding on to a playoff spot right now, trying to push their way further up the West.
Yeah, different perspective here for Monterey Bay. 3 points is huge from climbing above. They're above that playoff line, but creating some distance there and being comfortable there.
For Monterey Bay, they've had a little bit of a tough time scoring because of injuries and other factors. The one guy who hasn't had trouble with that is Tristan Traeger.
And something that's going to be really important for Tristan Traeger is the ability to create space for the midfield and win that battle centrally. And it's the way he can stretch and occupy an opponent's back line. Then in the final third, it's his complement of physicality and ingenuity in the box.
On the other side of things for Louisville City, they've been putting up near historic numbers as far as goal scoring is concerned. They have 48 this season. They have 33 at Lynn Family Stadium.
Yeah, and Sean have only been shut out twice, and 1 loss, 1 draw on those 2 shutouts. 33 goals here at Lynn Family Stadium, which would rank 3rd overall in the league in overall goals, which is incredible. So this, and leads the league in conversion rate as well. So 21% conversion rate. So creating chances and converting them.
14 different players have scored for Louisville this season. Here are the top 4 goal scorers. Wilson Harris leads the way, but Elijah Winder also has a career high, and Serrano and Tosher chipping in as well.
And that is balance when you have contributions from all of those positional groups, and you have players within those positional groups as well that have goals or assists, and it's the timeliness of those goals.
Let's take a look at tonight's player profile. It's presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. Brings up one of the main storylines of this game, which is Sam Gleadle facing his former club for the first time.
Yeah, and it's the versatility that he showcases. It's the various ways he can influence a match. And tonight, it's going to be about initiating the press, turning Monterey Bay over, and winning the battle in the wide areas. 2
goals for Gleadle this season. We'll see if he can add to his tally tonight. Just the second time the Seasiders have made the trek to Louisville. They won last time they were here 2 years ago. We'll see if they can do it again at one of the great fortresses in the USL Championship. Kickoff from Kentucky is coming up next.
Summertime gives you a lot of choices of places to go and things to do. That's why Toyota gives you the power of choice with 4 different electrified powertrains that give you more hybrid choices than anyone else. Like the hybrid version of the best-selling RAV4 with its very impressive driving range. This summer, get a new 24 RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 4.99 APR financing, or lease one for $339 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance. The choice is yours. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Mazda on the Dixie, where this month we have an amazing inventory to offer you, all with aggressive prices, and we even have 0% financing. That's right, 0% financing. This month at Neil Huffman Mazda on the Dixie, Huffman has it.
Summer is heating up with beach vacations, road trips, backyard barbecues, and fireworks. So fuel your summer with MyCard, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. MyCard gives you 3 points for every dollar you spend on transportation and travel, and 1.5 points for everything else, all with no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees. Don't have MyCard? Don't flip out. Flip the balance with a balance transfer and fuel your summer with MyCard, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Summer is here, and the holidays seem so far off, but not at Bill Collins Lincoln. It's our Christmas and July sale. Choose from Kentucky's largest inventory of new Lincolns, and we'll wrap one up for you at a great price. New Corsair Premier, total luxury, for just $4.99 a month. And every new Lincoln comes with a Louis Vuitton gift card valued at up to $3,000. Don't dash through the snow. Beat feet in the heat to the Christmas and July sale, only at Bill Collins Lincoln, Bardstown Road, and at BillCollinsLincoln at Louisville.com.
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Mazda on the Dixie, where this month we have an amazing inventory to offer you, all with aggressive prices, and we even have 0% financing. That's right, 0% financing. This month at Neil Huffman Mazda on the Dixie, Huffman has it.
Sean St. Jacques, Eric DeBransky, your entire crew, happy to have you with us tonight. Moments away from kickoff at Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky, as Lou City takes on Monterey Bay. Let's dive into the lineups. Danny Cruz has a very strong 11 for the hosts.
Yeah, and for Danny Cruz and Lou City, Jake Morris, Aiden McFadden, Elijah Winder, Taylor Davila, that is a midfield that's going to reinforce this press for a team that's looking to turn Monterey Bay over. And then this back line of Sharpie, Ordonez, and Tosh, they do a terrific job of instigating the attack and really creating some of those moments for Lou City, and we've seen how dangerous they are in goal scoring. And then for Monterey Bay, it's going to be about how do they win the midfield battle? How do they make sure that they're screening passes and winning some of those duels? And in the back line, it starts with Anthony Sayaha. How do you slow down such a potent attack in Lou City?
Just the third ever meeting between these two teams. And ironically enough, the road team has won each of the prior 2 meetings. And of course, the last time the Seasiders were here, they were 2-0 winners. We'll see if they can repeat the trick tonight. We're off and running at a packed Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Last time Frank Yallop brought Monterey Bay here, Sam Gleadle was amongst his ranks and scored in a 2-0 win. To take down Louisville was a massive upset at the time. But the last time these two got together, March of last season, Brian Ownby, who's now injured and been sidelined for some time, he had a goal to win the match, 1-0 for Louisville. He also got sent off in that game, but Louisville City returned the favor in Seaside in the rematch. So something's got to give in the third ever meeting. Louisville pushing for historic numbers and for the Players' Shield title. Monterey Bay in a seesaw battle in the Western Conference table right now. Any points that Frank Yallop's side can get would be massive to keep themselves amongst the top 8 as Louisville gets an early goal kick.
Yeah, because what you do not want to put yourself in a position where you're playing playoff games in mid to end of August, where every game and every point is putting you below the playoff line, and the West is just incredible right now. I mean, you look at it, Monterey Bay sitting at 26 points to start the night. 28 points is a top 4 spot. So you pick up 3 points tonight, that catapults you to 29 points. And then for Monterey Bay, they're 1-4-2 against the East this year. With their first win against the Eastern Conference being that game at Highmark against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that was a game that Frank Yallop talked to us about, how it's helped prepare them for some of these big atmospheres with big crowds. Of course, it's a great atmosphere in Seaside as well, but being on the opposite end of that, a moment like that, going to Highmark and getting a steal helps, and this could be a chance for Louisville. This is going to roll all the way through, and it's a big-time strike! Smashed in off the bar to give Louisville the lead. It's a heat-seeking missile from Jake Morris.
And you just saw Jake Morris eyeing this up. As soon as it got laid off, you could see him contemplate placing it, but then he went with just absolutely punishing the strike. And it's all that wide service, that bounce right there, occupying the defender from Ray Serrano. And then that run, that late run from Jake Morris. And that finish is just spectacular.
4th goal of the season for Jake Morris. Couldn't have struck it any better than that. And Louisville are not going to rest on their laurels after a hot start. Just about to tell you that that goal was presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery, and Louisville almost scored again. Louisville didn't score at all the last time Frank Yallop's side were here. They wanted to put that to bed pretty early.
And I know that there wasn't a loud moment, or, I mean, obviously it's early on in this match, but you could see the intent already, that front-footed nature that Lou City has presented to opponents here at home. Just an electric start for Lou City. Not even just going up a goal, but the manner in which you score that goal.
4 goals and 4 assists for Jake Morris. He's been so important to what Louisville have provided this season. That's the 49th goal that Lou City has scored, and the 34th that they've scored at Lynn Family Stadium. And again, some of the numbers that Danny Cruz's side are putting up, they've been getting comparisons to that 2019 Phoenix Rising team that set the record for points and set the record for goals in a season. 78 points they finished with. They ended with 89 goals. Both are still league records. And Morris is involved again here for Lou City. Trying to dance his way past a couple of defenders, and the Monterey Bay side gets it clear. Traeger nearly was played in behind. Damian Loss, who's had a very good season, was able to head that out of danger. Now then, Serrano looking for Gleedle. It could still fall for McFadden. McFadden to the byline, runs out of room. It's well dealt with in the end by Alex Lara. That gives us a chance to talk to you about tonight's weather report. It's provided by Advanced ENT. 90 degrees in Louisville, Kentucky tonight. 43% humidity, a little bit of partly cloudy skies, but I think some of those were cleared away by the Morris howitzer to give Lou City the lead.
And you could see here early on that Lou City is unbalancing Monterey Bay. They are getting them overshifted. They are getting them overcommitted. Not even just on the goal from Jake Morris, but you see it a number of times with Sam Gleedle's entry in the final third. You just saw it there with Aiden McFadden. They are doing a tremendous job of climbing the field together collectively. Being very progressive and positive when they do regain possession, playing at an extremely high tempo.
McFadden, great ball in, it's 2-0! McFadden puts it on a plate for Wilson Harris. And we haven't even played 7 minutes, but Lou City are already running riot.
And it starts with a delivery from Aiden McFadden again. It's that wide area. We talked about it a bit in the open, winning that battle out wide. Gets his head up, no pressure on that initial ball. He has the time and space to pick out his runner. Then you have somebody with the presence of Wilson Harris, just guides this ball into that corner. And what an explosive start for Danny Cruz's side.
Another Kentucky Lottery goal for Louisville City. It's Wilson Harris's team-leading 12th goal of the season. And both of Danny Cruz's outside backs have made big impacts. Morris's goal and McFadden's pinpoint assist. You can't get off to a much better start than that.
You just see the urgency that Lou City is playing with right now.
Morris again, trying to just shovel it up to Ray Serrano. Anthony Siaha has come in with the most saves of any goalkeeper this season, gobbles it up, but he didn't even have any chance on those 2 Louisville City strikes. Offside is the decision here. Matthew Corrigan is our head official tonight. It'll be a free kick for Monterey Bay, who are still trying to find their way here in these opening minutes. Battle forward in the midfield, where you talked about how Frank Yallop's group need to make some headway there, but it goes past Jesus Enriquez and out for another Louisville throw.
It's going to be one of those give and take battles, because you're going to have Enriquez have to drop back, Alex Dixon that's going to have to drop back and help defensively in those wide spaces, apply pressure. But now how do you climb the field? How do you have that collective attack now, especially being down 2-0? You have the outlet in Tristan Traeger, but how deep are you pinned in to now have to overcome those distances?
Morris again. An ambitious strike, and it was easily fielded by Anthony Siaha. Louisville this season at home, 9 games played before tonight, 8 wins, just the 1 defeat here against Rhode Island. They've had some great performances away from home. The Birmingham game comes to mind, but a lot of their games at home in particular. We've seen performances like this before, and 10 minutes in, we could be in for another one tonight.
It's just incredible because you have now the 35 goals at home coming into the game at 33. 15 of those are on the road. So, I mean, I'm not trying to get too deep into that conversation of how do you translate that potent attack to the road, because I think that's been well discussed with, you know, and this, regardless, this Lou City side are built to beat you in so many different ways. They can beat teams in those tight matchups. We've seen them have late winners. And then we've seen some of the louder wins here at home, the 6-0s against Hartford, the 5-2s against Indy 11. Only conceded 12 times here at home, and 5 of those 12 were in one match, and that was against Rhode Island.
Davila for Serrano. Morrison behind, tried to find Harris. And the referee points in the opposite direction. It's a free kick for Monterey Bay.
You can just see the interchange that you're getting from those wide players and those wide forwards. The ability to not play on the same planes, make sure that there's angles and there's distances to play into.
Pressure from Traeger. And Damian Loss, who's back in the lineup tonight, was almost caught out by Monterey Bay's leading goal scorer.
And this is what you don't want to see. And for Lou City, when you're up 2-0, don't create your own problems. And that was a good press from Tristan Traeger. You recognize that that ball played backwards was scuffed a bit and didn't have the pace that Damian Loss was expecting, and jumped all over it.
Commonwealth Credit Union. To learn more about how we can help you meet your financial goals, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Lovely ball again from McFadden. Sam Gleadle back heels it centrally, but nobody was on the same page. Falls for Sean Tosh, of course, just signed a contract extension this week. He epitomizes Louisville City on and off the field. That's what Danny Cruz said about Sean Tosh in our talk with him earlier this week. And we'll have more about that at halftime, but he just has had so many big moments with the club. He holds records with the club, and he stays with the club.
Just an incredible professional. I mean, on and off the field. I mean, what he's meant to this organization, this city, this team. I mean, you can get into both sides of the ball as well. What a tough defender he is, and the goals he scores from that back line, the ability to play make from that position. But as you hear so commonly, the best ability is availability, and that's where Sean Tosh has really separated himself in regards to not only playing at that high quality level and influencing matches day in and day out, but being available day in and day out, and that approach, and getting rewarded with that contract extension.
Danny Cruz also talked about how there was so much moving and shaking with the roster during the offseason. He said having guys like Sean Tosh as a constant, it's a big reason why Louisville are where they are right now.
Yeah, that clear identity, that clear culture.
Enriquez trying to loft that in behind for Traeger. Can Monterey Bay find some of their sea legs here as this first half moves along? 15 minutes nearly gone. If you're just tuning in, Jake Morris smashing one in off the crossbar, and then a gorgeous cross from Aiden McFadden headed in by Wilson Harris. Here's Elijah Winder, scored the first of Louisville's 2 last time out in that late win against the Switchbacks, as Serrano glides past a challenge here. Serrano cuts inside, he's held up. A couple puddles certainly impacting the surface here in Louisville as McFadden plays through one there. Tosh onto this near side, now Serrano picks it up here. Tosh again, time to maybe cross this in. They'll switch the point of attack from Morris. Back for Wes Sharpie.
Just see the fluidity in which Lou City's playing with, the interchange, the recognition.
McFadden, oh, it's gorgeous again! Gleedle's shot is saved by Siaha. The intricate build-up play picks Monterey Bay apart, but Siaha comes up with a huge, huge stop. He leads the league coming into the night with 77 saves.
And that's a great word, Sean, intricate. And I would add patience and then the urgency in that final moment, because that ball played in, and then just the clever little touch there.
Two goals puts Louisville up to 50 for the season. That's now, at least would have been going into the night, 10 more than anybody else, but the Battery, I believe, have also scored a couple, so that might change a little bit as Gleedle could be in again here for Louisville. Tries to chop it back. Here comes Serrano. It's blocked away. It's gonna triple out for a throw-in. Huge block by Lara, and Monterey Bay are just holding on right now.
They are absorbing a ton of pressure from Lou City, and sometimes when you concede early, it's a bit of that. It gives you time to go score a goal. Now you're down 2-0. You have to find a goal before half and make this game a 2-1 game and make Lou City feel that pressure. But right now, Lou City looks dangerous every time they hit the attacking half. I mean, they are making Monterey Bay chase and get stretched and get unbalanced.
Monterey Bay had been on a little bit of a run where they've been keeping clean sheets, and Frank Yallop talked about the fact, as Elijah Winder wins a free kick, that he didn't want Louisville to have those clear-cut chances, sitters, as he put it. Well, we haven't played 18 minutes yet. Louisville have had maybe 5 of those so far, and they've converted 2.
As you mentioned, the chances that Lou City create.
It's a Fifth Third Bank free kick. Davila and Serrano, another chance to create, as you said.
For Monterey Bay, it's having to be very careful with conceding that third, because you want to put yourself where you're still in striking distance.
Davila has created so many chances for Lou City, tied for 3rd in the league with 42 of them so far this season. Ray Serrano has 3 assists to his name in this campaign. 2 good guys to have over the ball. Serrano bends it in, headed away by Alex Dixon. Recycled for Davila again. Helped along for Serrano. Serrano across, nobody there in purple to attack. Serrano cushions it down for McFadden. Fadden chops it centrally. Davila trying to slice and dice his way through, but there's too many white shirts in his way. Traeger comes out with it. He does really well. Chance for Jesus Enriquez to bring Monterey Bay out of trouble. And they'll keep possession as it's whistled for a free kick. And Danny Cruz is loving it, applauding every bit of this Louisville start.
Well, and you could see it in that moment. Tristan Traeger is getting on the ball 40 yards away from his own goal and having to start dribbling out, trying to buy some time to find a teammate. That is tough structure to complement your attack. If you're pinned in that deep in your own half and you just continue to see the dynamic movement from Louisville City off the ball, and they have the freedom and the availability to recycle it, reset.
Baca tried to find a teammate. Wilson Harris is there to help. And then tries to get on the end of this from Gleedle. It's a lovely give and go, but can Gleedle get there? No, Lara does well to get there in time, really, to make up the ground. Fans, when Lou City wins, you win. This season, Lou City has partnered with Wendy's to give out a small free Frosty. If the boys in purple win, no purchase necessary. The offer is valid the following day after a win. Head to any participating Louisville area Wendy's to redeem. Walmer Martinez could not keep that in play. And Louisville can possibly create another opportunity. Now, heading into the night, Louisville had a chance to go back to the top and still has a chance to go back to the top. They'll need some help in Tampa. Oh, they almost scored again. It's off the bar. Harris denied. Morris back across. Did he keep it in play? It's a goal kick. Oh, everywhere you look, you can't take your eyes off it. Louisville continue to create big opportunities.
And I would say that Monterey Bay is having a difficulty tracking and locating some of these runners. But I would also add that a lot of credit goes to Lou City in terms of the timing, the ability to recognize and attack, exploit that space. They have been spot on tonight. They have gotten the ball wide and they have layered those runs and timed them to perfection. I mean, you almost feel like if you're Danny Cruz and Lou City, you feel like this game should be at 3-0 because of the chances you've created.
What I was going to say is the Battery are in Tampa Bay tonight. They were up 2-0. It's now 2-1. So there is still a scenario where Lou City can find themselves back at the top of the East tonight, and they'd still have a game or two in hand. So we'll keep an eye on that scenario. But Louisville are certainly doing their part. This ball is bent into the penalty area. McFadden could have maybe let that go. He heads it to keep the ball in play. Here's Walmer Martinez. Rafael Baca. Jesus Enriquez. First time ball in by Walmer Martinez, and oh, it's a goal, it's in! Can you believe that? Monterey Bay are back in it. After all the pressure they put up with, Moby Fair makes it 2-1.
And that is what you needed for Monterey Bay. The response, you cut into this lead and you grab that momentum. You have to start taking some of those opportunities, and this was fantastic for Monterey Bay. They did not rush the service. They allowed the numbers to get forward, and this little layoff there is key. The delivery here, good shape, good pace. Good collective sequence from Monterey Bay to pull one back.
They've had to answer so many questions in these opening segments of the game. And Frank Yallop's side have an answer, but Serrano looks to fire back. And he pulls his shot wide after Moby Fair scored his 3rd goal of the season for the Seasiders.
I would say the challenge is going to be now which team wins the next 5-10 minutes, because Lou City has got to be a bit shocked right now in terms of you have a 2-0 lead, you're flowing in the attack, you're creating opportunities. Monterey Bay has not had much to talk about there in the final third. I mean, other than the press from Tristan Traeger that almost turned over Damian Loss, had not really created anything. But that is what you needed. And for Monterey Bay, can you have that moment and start stacking those?
Harris for Louisville. He stood up. That's a clean challenge. Monterey Bay gets the ball back. Here's Dixon. Dixon bends it upfield. It's a good touch from Ordonez, but Enriquez is there to help, and Dixon's back on it. Dixon into the middle. Davila gets a touch. Winders harried. Who's it last off of? Looks like it's going to be a Lou City throw, and all of a sudden, Monterey Bay have found their confidence again.
Yeah, you see that commitment to get forward. He was a bit reluctant before that goal. Just absorbing so much pressure and being pinned in your half. And now, what goals do. how it just shifts everything.
Serrano looking for Harris. Lara again with a critical intervention.
Oh, and I would almost say that that's one of the first times in this first half that Lou City has gotten a bit crossed up with what kind of ball they wanted from that wide area. It looked like Serrano wanted to play that for Wilson Harris, and Wilson Harris held his run just a split second too long as that ball got played in. This is the man, Aiden McFadden, that delivery out wide for both goals.
Tosh. Winder. Winder tried to continue his run. He was tripped up. Good spot by the referee. A yellow card's going to come out, and it's going to be a free kick for Louisville. Looks like Walmer Martinez ends up being the guilty party. Another set piece to defend here. It's a bone dry roofing yellow card.
It's going to be important for Lou City to begin to recreate the momentum they were playing with before that goal. Can this free kick be one of those scenarios?
Davila to take. Good ball in! Oh, it's gone in again! Headed home by Elijah Winder for his career high 5th Louisville goal this season. It's a goal fest in Kentucky. Louisville are back ahead by 3-1.
And it's all about the service. It gives the opportunity for Elijah Winder just to get a touch, because this delivery by Davila, you're putting Monterey Bay defenders and Siaha in a position where he's stuck on his line, and now he's counting on his back line, his defenders in that 18-yard box to win those duels. And you have all that traffic in front of you. You have this ball stung in with pace. And Elijah Winder fully understanding what was required of him in that moment, just getting a touch and claiming that 2-goal lead again.
Almost everything Louisville have touched in this first half has turned to goals. We still haven't even played 30 minutes. They're going to run out of purple smoke, by the way, here. Gleadle does a great job to win that back. McFadden gets it to him for a replenishment of the possession.
And this is already a Lou City side that value wide services. They value that, winning those battles out wide and making it uncomfortable for teams to defend those wide areas. You think about the goal that Elijah Winder scored against Miami FC. Very similar. A free kick delivered in, glancing header. Those are tough to defend, but they have been top quality tonight.
This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota, Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. It's been Lou City, fittingly enough, driving all the action here. Monterey Bay have been able to get one back very much against the run of play. Moby Fair gave them a brief glimmer of hope. Elijah Winder responded to in quick time. They're gonna have to start keeping a goal scored counter here at Lynn Family. That's 51 goals that Louisville have scored in total, 36 of them on this patch of grass. That 2019 Phoenix team, that those records, they might have to look out if Louisville keep playing like this. And that's one of the interesting parts about how Louisville have started this game. They've been alternating wins and losses quite a bit over the last 6 to 7 games. Louisville hoping to make sure that that ends tonight. Monterey Bay still have a say here. Rebelar can't get past Davila. He's able to clear it, but only as far as Walmer Martinez. Enriquez for Rebelar, plays a wonderful ball in. Tristan Traeger can certainly do some damage. He played it across. That was an opportunity for Dixon. Louisville do enough, and Serrano clears. Danny Cruz talked to us about how they don't want Tristan Traeger to have that kind of time and space in the box, and we just saw why.
And I think what you're seeing both teams battle and try to find a balance in is when to timely and collectively retreat into your own box, because what happens is you're preparing to deal with a service, which, you know, the ball's on the foot of Martinez, ball's out wide. I mean, Aiden McFadden for Lou City. But what you don't want to do is retreat into your own box too early. And now you're inviting that second and third action to be 10, 12 yards away from goal. And that was almost indicative of what the goal was for Monterey Bay. Lou City dropping into their own 18-yard box, inviting some of that havoc. And we've seen that on display for Monterey Bay as well. So it's trying to find that balance and that continuity with when, where, what scenario, when are we all collectively dropping, when are we winning our duels and matching up in those moments.
USL Summer of Soccer continues on CBS. Surging Detroit City FC, led by first-year head coach Danny Dicchio, host newcomers Rhode Island FC and Cano Smith, the reigning USL Championship Player of the Year, Albert Dequa and company. It's August 3rd, 4 p.m. Eastern on the CBS network. Of course, Rhode Island are the only team that's triumphantly come to Lynn Family, I should say, and left with all the points, a 5-2 win. That's the only team that's been able to take anything off Louisville at this fortress this season.
And a team that in Rhode Island with 10 draws, that, I mean, what a matchup that's going to be, because
yeah,
it's almost a playoff game in August. You know, Detroit City FC have had their own flow to their season in terms of, you mentioned kind of the trade-off for Lou City, winning a game, dropping a game. They've kind of exchanged some results. I mean, that's a Detroit City side that has done the same. I mean, 1-2-2 in their last 5.
And it's 0-0 between Detroit and Sacramento right now. That was the first game to kick off tonight, as part of, I should say, this giant USL Championship slate. See if Danny Dicchio's side can get that result before the big CBS clash with Cano Smith's group. Just over 10 minutes left in the half. But there at the expected goals so far. That about sums it up as Gleedle tries to score again against his former club. He had his shot denied by Siaha earlier. This one is sent into his adoring public.
And you could see the frustration from Siaha, because it goes back to what I was just talking about. The willingness and how quickly they're retreating into their own box, and nobody's applying pressure to Sam Gleedle. And it's just inviting that opportunity from distance, and that's going to continue to be frustrating for Monterey Bay if it does indeed continue.
Welcome to the fans watching this game on WBKI, the official broadcast home for Louisville City FC. Sure, they're very happy with the way this one has started out. I'll be fair, has given Monterey Bay a sliver to hold on to, but it has been a steam train down the tracks from Lou City so far.
I mean, it's incredible, and we just showed that expected goal stat, and shots for Lou City and shots for Monterey Bay. You know, the efficiency for Monterey Bay, the one shot on goal and one goal.
From a set piece here, they look to get another one. And Tristan Traeger nearly scored there, but the offside flag goes up. It's a moot point. And Frank Yallop continues to go through all the emotions in this first half.
And for a team that has not sustained dangerous attacks, they've created some loud moments in the final third. Monterey Bay has.
2 or 3 big opportunities, one that they converted through Moby Fair, who's now Monterey Bay's second leading goal scorer. McFadden, lovely flick into the path of Gleedle. McFadden tries to get back on the end of it. Didn't give up on the play, but Monterey Bay clear it upfield. And Ordonez got involved. Referee was going to give a foul there, but plays advantage for the Seasiders instead. Maury Donor plays a wonderful ball onto this far side. Alex Dixon cuts it, places it into the middle for Rebelar. And Rebelar ends up taking it back out. Then it's sent back in off a ricochet. It's going to fall for Winder, who's going to get Louisville City out of trouble. But then Martinez wins it back. Advantage is played again for Baca. Donor again. Donor cuts it back. Switches the play for Enriquez. Jesus Enriquez tried to find somebody in white, but Sean Tosh knocks it down. Walmer Martinez recycles the possession. Back out to the far side again for Donor.
It's a good spell from Monterey Bay. And it almost looked like in that moment with Rebelar, he dribbled himself out of a dangerous opportunity. It looked like if he had just, he left it there for Alex Dixon. That was a terrific ball played in by Maury Donor.
Still 7 minutes for Monterey Bay to feel a little bit better about things. The end of the half, they can maybe grab another here. Lara could come back to his defensive interventions while the Storm was at its peak. Monterey Bay can storm back here. Donor through the lines for Rebelar. Maybe the longest spell of possession we've seen from Frank Yallop's group to this point. Donor switches the point of attack. Lara. Turning in field is Enriquez. Baca for Dixon. Martinez. It's a good step defensively by Tosh. Now Winder. Dixon sends it up ahead. Traeger out-muscled by Ordonez. Maybe a chance for Louisville. Serrano. This time they'll take it down a couple of notches.
And for Louisville, this has been that time of matches at home from their 12 goals conceded, sorry, 13, if you count the, obviously counting the one tonight, but they're 12 going into tonight. 8 of those 12 were in the final 14 minutes of each half. 4 in that 31st minute to that 45th minute, and then 4 in that 76th to the 90th minute. So this is an area where for Monterey Bay, keep asking the questions, keep creating some of those opportunities. And for Louisville, can you change that narrative and close this half? I know that they're going to be already disappointed with the one that they've conceded. Again, that was a good moment for Monterey Bay that they created to cut into that lead.
Siaha, under some pressure, gets it upfield. Headed down by Tosh, lovely little flick on for Serrano. Serrano in behind looking for Harris. Martinez beats into the spot. Davila stepped in, but Enriquez gets the ricochet. And it could open up here on the far side for Monterey Bay. Moby Fair leads the charge. Donor off to the far side. Fair into the middle. Traeger leaves it. Enriquez strikes it! And it's a brilliant save by Damian Loss. Out it goes for a Monterey Bay corner.
And what a sequence for Monterey Bay. And it starts with good defending in the defensive box and the build-up, playing through the phases, being patient. What a save by Damian Loss. This is exactly what you want for Monterey Bay. You want to have a conversation at halftime, continue to push to get a goal here and cut into this lead. But you want to change the narrative going into halftime. You want Lou City to feel that pressure and know that if we make some adjustments here at halftime, this could be a different second half, and it starts with that build-up.
Martinez, flicked on by Traeger. Gleedle comes out with it, but loses the ball back to Donor. Martinez. He can certainly strike them, Wilmer Martinez. He gives it a go, but it goes wide. Tune into ESPN2 for a USL Summer of Soccer showdown as last season's top 2 sides from the East and the West face off in an interconference clash with perennial powerhouse Sac Republic hosting the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Saturday, August 3rd, 11 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Pittsburgh's locked in a tight one right now with Loudon at Highmark. 1 goal apiece there. They're getting into the final 10 minutes in the Steel City. A couple minutes left here in the half at Lynn Family Stadium. It's been a wonderful first half, especially from the neutral point of view. So much action and drama.
And then seeing in real time the problem solving that has had to go on with Monterey Bay, and I think they've weathered some of the ebbs and flows of the pressure that Lou City has put them under, creating some attacking opportunities of their own. And you mentioned Alex Lara earlier, his defensive interventions. I think Martinez has done a good job of winning his duels. Now he's chasing here.
McFadden for Serrano. Another good ball in from Aiden McFadden. He's a human pitching wedge.
Well, I think the concerning thing for Frank Yallop and his team are on those wide services, how wide open Lou City has been on a number of opportunities, whether it's
Great point.
Ray Serrano, whether it's Jake Morris, whether it's Aiden McFadden. Sam Gleedle has got in on those runs that far post. It's that unbalancing of your opponent and bringing everybody over to one side. So you're going to have to fix those distances going into the second half.
That was the scenario that Frank Yallop wanted to avoid, but it has played out in this first half. The challenge comes in there. Was it a crunching tackle from Moby Fair? The referee has given a foul here. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything else other than that.
See the spell of possession for Lou City in this entry pass to Ray Serrano, and the foul by Fair. These are those entry passes that deep drop from Ray Serrano and the interchange and the fluidity in which this Lou City side attack, as we see Ray Serrano still down. And
we're into 2 added minutes here, brought to you by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Danny Cruz has already been dealing with quite a few injuries. Of course, Jorge Gonzalez recently had surgery on his injury, and just got Kyle Adams back in the squad from an injury as well. Danny Cruz told us that there might be some more promising things in the next week as far as a few other guys, most notably Adrian Perez, who was questionable coming into tonight, isn't in the squad, might be back next week, maybe a little bit further down the line. We'll see on that. Ray Serrano, who struggled at times last year, I think that's fair to say, but has really grown into his role this season. He's put together so many strong performances, and he's become a key cog in Louisville's attack.
yeah, 9 goal contributions. I mean, 6 goals, 3 assists. I think it's, for him now, it's the consistency of the press and how he influences the press. Because explosive on the ball, the creativity, how clever he is, and the ability to be resourceful in those final third moments. But the way that Lou City presses and reinforces the press and the relentlessness they play with.
We've had the 2, but we'll see how much is added on the back end. So the Serrano injury stoppage, that's going to be helped out of play. It's a throw-in from Monterey Bay. That'll have to be taken back a few more steps.
I think sometimes when you play with that high pressure and that Lou City play with, it is tough sometimes to do that game in and game out. Not even just from the physical standpoint, but every game is so different. It tells such a different story. It presents different challenges and different pictures, and you've got to make those decisions. And obviously you can go out there and say, we're going to go press every moment, every minute, but where, when, the scenario of how they're faced, opponents facing. And for Lou City, that first half has been indicative of how they've been all season. 3 goals, 3 different goal scorers.
3-1 lead for Louisville at the half. They scored their first 2 goals inside of 7 minutes. Monterey Bay were in the eye of the storm. Moby Fair got one back in the 24th minute before Elijah Winder made it 3-1, and that's where we stand.
Yeah, I think it's going to be about how do you start winning that battle of distances for Monterey Bay, because they are getting pinned in their own half, and it's not allowing them to build that structure and have anything going forward. So it's trying to build those structures.
We'll see if Monterey Bay can slow Louisville down in the second half. It's been vintage Lou City for the first 45 minutes. 3 goals, like you said, Coach, from 3 different goal scorers. And the Louisville fans and players are fired up with how they played in the first 45 minutes. 3-1 at the half. We'll talk more about Sean Tosh and look around the league on a wild night in the USL Championship. All of that and more is coming up after the break.
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie, where this month we have a great selection and we have great prices, and we even have 1% available. That's right, 1.9% is available. And this is all going on now at Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie. Huffman has it.
Summer is heating up with beach vacations, road trips, backyard barbecues, and fireworks. So fuel your summer with MyCard, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. MyCard gives you 3 points for every dollar you spend on transportation and travel, and 1.5 points for everything else, all with no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees. Don't have MyCard? Don't flip out. Flip the balance with a balance transfer and fuel your summer with MyCard, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Hey, Grandma! Up for a road trip?
We could see the world. We could see the world.
Follow your heart at ohio.org. Ohio, the heart of it all.
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie, where this month we have a great selection and we have great prices and we even have 1% available. That's right, 1.9% is available. And this is all going on now at Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie. Huffman has it.
Summertime gives you a lot of choices, places to go, and things to do. That's why Toyota gives you the power of choice with 4 different electrified powertrains that give you more hybrid choices than anyone else. Like the hybrid version of the best-selling RAV4 with its very impressive driving range. This summer, get a new 24 RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 4.99 APR financing. Or lease one for $339 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance. The choice is yours. Toyota, let's go places.
Back here at the half at Lynn Family Stadium, Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky here with you. Louisville in control with 45 minutes still to go. They lead Monterey Bay by 3-1. Oodles of action in that first half. We're hoping for more of the same in the second half. But of course, one of the big news, not just around Louisville City, but in the entirety of the USL Championship this week, was the announcement that Sean Tosh had signed a contract extension to stay with Louisville for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and he's impacted this team, this organization, this community in a variety of ways. I mean, his presence, his professionalism, and on the field, just the timeliness of goals too. Defensively, you know, tremendous in the box, and then that late winner against Colorado Springs.
Obviously, I love this place. I love the team. I love my teammates. Love the city and everything about the club here. So, you know, I'm really happy to extend my time, and you know, look forward to, you know, a lot of future success with this team. You know, I really enjoy coming in every day and being a part of this locker room and being a part of the group and the jokes, either getting on each other, calling each other out, and then afterwards laughing and, you know, calling each other Big Head Boy from random nicknames and stuff. So it's a really unique locker room where, you know, everyone genuinely has each other's best interests. And, you know, I think for a lot of people, whether it's a locker room or a workplace, you don't get that, you know, very often in life. So I've been really blessed to be a part of a group that genuinely wants the best for everybody every day. So I'm just fortunate to be part of that.
Big Head Boy, by the way, is his nickname because he has scored some pretty big goals with that head of his against Colorado Springs last time out as well. But just looking at Sean Tosh's resume, club leader in games played, in minutes, 2-time USL Championship in back-to-back seasons, and also set the league record for goals as a defender. He's just checked off all the boxes.
Yeah, the physicality that he plays in both boxes, the presence on free kicks, and then the presence defensively in the box.
He's just been wonderful for Louisville City in his career, and Danny Cruz certainly happy to keep him for the foreseeable future as well. We'll step aside for now. After the break, we'll look around all the scores in the upcoming schedule around the USL Championship and much more, with Louisville leading at the half.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes, only want the best. Anybody, nothing, I won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest.
The best nights start with Jägermeister. Made with 56 botanicals. Always served ice cold.
It would take a miracle to come back from this.
the moments when anticipation
Counting down. 5 seconds. 3, 2.
becomes celebration. Jägermeister. Meister the moment.
Touchdown by Rodriguez, going for goal, it's Morris, and it's in! Detroit City's ahead!
And a bit of space as well, he'll have a go from distance! Oh, what a goal!
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Summertime gives you a lot of choices of places to go and things to do. That's why Toyota gives you the power of choice with 4 different electrified powertrains that give you more hybrid choices than anyone else. Like the hybrid version of the best-selling RAV4 with its very impressive driving range. This summer, get a new 24 RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 4.99 APR financing. Or lease one for $339 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance. The choice is yours. Toyota, let's go places.
Sean and Eric back here with you at the break. Louisville fans happy at the moment. They lead Monterey Bay by 3-1 with a big second half still to come here at Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Many big games still to come around the USL Championship, all a part of the USL Summer of Soccer on the CBS and ESPN networks. Of course, the big one everyone's looking forward to, Coach, August 3rd, 4 p.m. in Hamtramck, CBS, Detroit against Rhode Island.
Yeah, we talked about it early in this first half, where these two teams are in the Eastern Conference and what they're going to be playing for and how big 3 points are going to be.
Another game that jumped out to us, August 10th, ESPN2, could be a final preview. You never know.
Yep.
Louisville, Sac Republic.
Collision course. And for Sacramento Republic, before they meet up with Lou City, going to take on Pittsburgh, and Lou City's going to go to New Mexico United. So coming off those matchups makes that one even more intriguing.
Sac Republic, of course, and Louisville both lost in the conference final last season. They'll hope to go a step further this time around. Let's look around the league with the USL Championship scores. One game that just went final. Detroit City, we just talked about them. An opportunity at home. Sac Republic breaks their hearts late. Oakland trying to hold on. Pittsburgh just went down to 10, trying to get a result against Loudoun.
Yeah, for Detroit City, 2 straight losses now, and for Oakland Roots, hanging on to that 1-goal lead and trying to rebound from conceding 10 goals in 2 matches. That 5-0 loss to Pittsburgh and that 5-2 loss to Sacramento Republic.
Other games to keep an eye on. Charleston were 2-0 up after 15 minutes. The Rowdies have come back to tie it.
And see if San Antonio FC can get something going, playing one of the highest scoring offenses in the West in Memphis.
They are certainly going to be a team to look out for as we get down to the final weeks and months of the season. Certainly a big 45 still to come here in Louisville. Lou City in charge for now, but Monterey Bay will have their say in the second half. Highlights, stats, and the second half kick are all coming up next.
Summertime gives you a lot of choices of places to go and things to do. That's why Toyota gives you the power of choice with 4 different electrified powertrains that give you more hybrid choices than anyone else. Like the hybrid version of the best-selling RAV4 with its very impressive driving range. This summer, get a new 24 RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 4.99 APR financing. Or lease one for $339 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance. The choice is yours. Toyota, let's go places.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the 3rd health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I finally feel in control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
When you need inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices. Savings like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time.
It's your thing. Do what you wanna do.
Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Summertime gives you a lot of choices of places to go and things to do. That's why Toyota gives you the power of choice with 4 different electrified powertrains that give you more hybrid choices than anyone else. Like the hybrid version of the best-selling RAV4 with its very impressive driving range. This summer, get a new 24 RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 4.99 APR financing. Or lease one for $339 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance. The choice is yours. Toyota, let's go places.
Moments away from the start of the second half here at Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, your entire crew, we've thoroughly enjoyed this one so far. Tons of action to recap from the first half, and let's do so in our first half highlights. And it didn't take long for Louisville to get the engines humming.
Yeah, fast start, and they kept the pedal on the gas. This delivery from Aiden McFadden, the lead by Ray Serrano, and this punishing strike from Jake Morris. The early goal sets the tone, and you saw the momentum and the energy that Lou City played with after that goal, and it translated to a follow-up goal. Delivery from Aiden McFadden has been spot on tonight. The delivery from Lou City has been dangerous all night in this first 45, and then Wilson Harris finding that pocket of space, and it goes into how overshifted Monterey Bay has found themselves in that first 45 and that pocket that has developed. But good response from Monterey Bay. You're down 2-0, you take one opportunity and you score it. A terrific layoff here by Tristan Traeger, being physical in the box, and then Moby Fair cutting into this lead. And you saw after that goal, a bit of the momentum shifted to Monterey Bay, and then the set piece here, Davila, terrific delivery, and then just the glancing header from Elijah Winder to restore that 2-goal lead.
Taylor Davila's 4th assist of the season, and Siaha did everything he could to try to keep it out, but Louisville back in charge after a second goal in as many games for Elijah Winder. Halftime stats look like this, and I must say, based on how the first 10 minutes went, this could have been a lot worse for Monterey Bay, but they're still down by 2.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised by the possession numbers either, because of how fast and progressive Lou City were in when they regained possession and how quickly they played forward and broke lines. Both teams featuring efficiency in the final third. 3 shots on target for Lou City, 4 shots on target, 3 goals, 2 shots on target for Monterey Bay, and the 1 goal.
We'll see how Frank Yallop tries to adjust things in the second half, and that looks like Xavi Nolazzi might be getting set to make his impact in the game. He has been substituted on. Adrian Rebelar, we've been told, is not going to continue. So a halftime alteration for the Seasiders to try and fight their way back towards a result tonight. And again, Monterey Bay 8th in the West coming into the night, trying to stay in that spot for a playoff position in what continues to be a topsy-turvy Western Conference, I should say, in the USL Championship. Can Louisville keep the high standards they set in that first half? They're going to get right back onto the attack here. Harris into the middle, and Anthony Siaha is there for his first action of the second half. Wilson Harris scored the second of Louisville's 3. Sandwiched in by a Morris rocket. And a well-placed header by Elijah Winder off a great Davila's service. Moby Fair gave Monterey Bay some life in the middle of all of that. But the headline from the first half will be Louisville just about at their pinpoint best.
You can only imagine going into the break how disappointed they were with conceding the goal. As electric as they were in the attack, you know this is a side that takes a lot of pride in collecting clean sheets, and be disappointed with their defensive roles on the Moby Fair goal, but that was the response that Monterey Bay needed, and it's going to be fascinating to see this first 5, 10, 15 minutes, because it's going to be on Monterey Bay to ask Lou City those difficult questions, put some pressure on them, put them in situations where now they're unbalanced and they're losing some of those defensive duels out in that wide area. And I think where they're having success, Monterey Bay, is first contact on deliveries in those wide areas. You've seen it on the set pieces, you saw it on the goal. Tristan Traeger has done a good job of making first contact on those deliveries.
Elijah Winder down in a heap, and then another collision. Sees McFadden take it out. Referee blows the whistle. And then checks on Elijah Winder. We asked Danny Cruz about Elijah Winder's progression. He says at 21, he's one of the best center midfielders in the league. He's played over 1,500 minutes for Louisville this season. Danny Cruz said, well, you know, he's played big minutes on arguably the best team in the league. He deserves a lot of credit, and maybe more credit than some have been giving him throughout the season. He's done so well for a top team.
You can't overstate how important a midfield is. When you play the way that Lou City play, you can get really disconnected if you're off and the timing's off, the reinforcement of the press, the moments that you pick and choose to climb the field, you can be picked apart.
Serrano and Davila. Davila gets it from Serrano, and he's going to chop it back for a shot. It was blocked on the edge of the penalty area. And it's going to curl out for a Louisville throw on the far side. Harris, defended by Lara. Harris follows up. The battle continues here. Lara sends it upfield, but it goes out of play. Still 2-2, by the way, between the Rowdies and Charleston. So if that stays the way it is, and Louisville finishes this out, I should say, with a win, Lou City on goal difference would be the top team again in the East. And of course, on points, the entirety of the USL Championship. No one in the West, maybe besides New Mexico, is even close right now.
Yeah, New Mexico United is going to look to make a push for that Players' Shield and make sure that Charleston and Lou City feel their presence.
I think the one other team that I wouldn't quite count out yet, especially after they found a way to win in Hamtramck tonight, is Sac Republic. They could always put a run together, might not be in the mix yet for that, but 3 games in a row with Sac Republic-like performances, and all of a sudden, Mark Briggs' side could be right there. Morris for Sharpie. Pings it out to that far side. Martinez steps in. Tosh helps it along. Martinez gets back onto it. Traeger for Martinez. Good build-up play here from Monterey Bay. Alex Dixon is going to play in Maury Donor. Donor back across. That was a chance for Moby Fair. He overruns it. Baca resets. Baca. Moby Fair tried a reverse ball, and it was a pass that came up well short, and then Moby Fair compounds that by committing a foul.
And I think he recognized that Ray Serrano had read that play and was ready to pick that pass off. Good tempo for Monterey Bay, and something that was important for Frank Yallop's side is pulling one back with enough time to pull that second one as well. Obviously, defensively, the margins for error are slim to none, because you can't make this a 3-goal deficit. If you can cut into this lead and make this a 3-2 game, and I would say about the 70 or 75th minute, you give yourself plenty of time, not only to get that second one, but now if you leave yourself 15, 20 minutes, you can make this a challenge for Lou City and put a lot of pressure on them. Same, now a foul called on Wilson Harris.
Free kick is taken quickly by Kai Green. Just been a mainstay for Frank Yallop's group for a number of years now. Dixon lays it off. Donor falling out of bounds, but giving it right back to Louisville. Davila with a little dink over the top. Harris stays onside. Harris, lovely footwork. And his shot is blocked by Baca, out for a corner. It's going to be a 5-5 corner for Lou City upcoming. Serrano will take. More danger for Monterey Bay to have to deal with to try to stay alive in this game. Serrano's ball in. Siaha parries it out of danger. McFadden recycles the possession for Gleadle. Gleadle sends it back in, looking for Tosh. Tosh heads it down. Too far for Winder. And Martinez clears out for a Louisville throw with more pressure starting to ramp up.
And that punch out from Siaha was crucial because Lou City had a runner, had the inside track. If he gets stuck on his line, you're having to come up with a big time save.
Morris into the middle, tried to find Harris, still alive, and it was laid off for McFadden, who didn't get there in time. Tosh heads it back down for Gleadle. Tosh into the middle, it nearly slipped through for McFadden. Alex Lara clears it away, and Ordonez recycles it all the way back to Damian Loss. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com. The latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. 10 minutes into the second half. Traeger on the turn. He's knocked off the ball by Sean Tosh. Few Monterey Bay voices from the near side saying that should have been a foul. Louisville gets on with it with Morris. Morris from Sharpie, and then from Serrano. Davila, he's going to win a throw-in on the far side. I wonder if the other part to the slow Monterey Bay start was the fact that they had more time to prepare for this game coming off a bye week. They had a 0-0 draw before that. There's always the debate, right? Rest versus rust, and Monterey Bay certainly needed some rest. Louisville were out at the races. It's taken Monterey Bay some time, but they have been creating more and more opportunities. Could have one here with Dixon. Dixon to the byline and plays it across. But in the end, with two white shirts lurking, it's going to float over everybody's head and out of play.
And there's no question that this Monterey Bay side can feature a potent attack of their own. I mean, and they've got the players, they've got that ability, that creativity, the vision going forward. Now it's about that final pass, that final decision. And this is already better here in the second half of doing it collectively, because what you saw in the first half was not only a lot of isolated attacking moments, but it was predicated on their defensive posture. They were very compact. They were very absorbed into their own defensive third, that they just had no outlets and no layers to that attack.
Good hustle by McFadden, but it just rolls out of play.
You've seen less involvement from Aiden McFadden and Jake Morris so far in the second half. Now,
nice ball over the top here. Chance for Alex Dixon. He will get to it. Dixon against Morris, and Morris sweeps it up. Only as far as Donor, however. Baca. For Lara. Yalati. Monterey Bay forced to, in a way, having to recycle the possession here. They'll try Donor on the near side again, going against Morris. Donor cuts in field, forced back by Serrano. Louisville's turn to be compact and absorb some pressure here. Martinez slicing and dicing. And his shot is sent soaring into the seats.
Jake Morris has showcased some key 1v1 matchups defensively. Matched up with no help behind in that Alex Dixon scenario. Terrific job leading him away from goal, and then the tackle, and then just a few seconds later having to defend again. Monterey Bay asking all the right questions. You could see a bit of the patience and the timing there in the final third.
Serrano stays with it for Louisville. Serrano gets through. He's going to shoot! And it's just pulled wide of Siaha's goal.
And you could see the two options that Ray Serrano had. He could pull the trigger and take it himself. Then he had that slipped ball in, but Martinez detaching and starting to go with that far runner. So Ray Serrano felt like he had a good look at goal and Siaha.
McFadden gives it away. Half an hour to play here. Normal time. Tristan Traeger leads Monterey Bay onto the attack. Help arrives. It's going to roll through to Baca. Moby Fair scored once. He lays this off. Donor into the middle. It hits off of Winder. It's going to roll out of play. And it's a throw-in for Monterey Bay. It went out before Martinez touched it. Baca resets.
And we saw that towards the end of the first half. The recognition and the influence that Maury Donor had in that wide area. He was able to join a lot of those dangerous moments, create from the services, and what deception and manipulation from Moby Fair on the ball. Stepping up like he was going to take a shot from distance, and then that slipped ball out wide. Unfortunately, Maury Donor just unable to put that on target, in regards of giving his teammates a chance to put one on frame.
This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota, Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Frank Yallop talked to us about the fact that the final ball has been a little bit off recently for Monterey Bay. And again, the 0-0 draw would tell you that against Tulsa last time out. And as we discussed that, Louisville are going to make a couple of changes here. Amadou Dia and Jansen Wilson are going to come on. Both changes brought to you by Fortna. Aiden McFadden and Jake Morris, the two highlight stars tonight, you could argue, for Louisville, are both going to come out at the same time.
Yeah, 2 assists for Aiden McFadden, and then the goal for Jake Morris, as we see Monterey Bay making a change as well.
They're going to take off Alex Dixon. And it's pretty much a like for like on this Fortna change. Michael Gonzalez is going to come in. He has scored once in the league this season for the Seasiders. But certainly, Jake Morris and Aiden McFadden played their part and then some in building Louisville's lead.
And not surprised to see them come off. The workload and the work rate that you have to have in that wide area, and the depth that Lou City possess in that positional group as well.
Oh, Gleedle across. Kai Green, critical touch to keep it away. A real opportunity. Enriquez fighting his way through Louisville's back line and tries to get Traeger free. But Ordonez, with a brilliantly timed challenge, gets Louisville the ball back. Serrano ends up splitting the defenders, or I should say his teammates, on the far side. Jansen Wilson keeps it alive for Tosh. Wilson down the line for Sam Gleedle. Gleedle into the middle, and it's caught by Siaha as he was trying to find Wilson Harris. And then Davila wins it back off of Donor. Serrano trying to find Gleedle. It's popped up, and Siaha catches. It was not intentional, so it's an allowed back pass, and then it's a miscued touch by Walmer Martinez that could invite more Louisville pressure on in the next sequence.
And for a Monterey Bay side that have grown into this second half, and you feel like they've stacked offensive sequences, and they've done it collectively because they did it a bit in the first half, but weren't able to sustain it. Here's another one.
Lazzi, wonderful run, decent effort! And he nearly scores a wonder goal here, the substitute, but it goes wide of Lass's goal in the end. Brilliant attempt.
And that's what you needed for Monterey Bay, is a player that was going to drive at this back line for Lou City, make them make decisions, and then on top of that, you don't have the isolation that you had in the first half. You have a collective climbing of the field for Monterey Bay, so you have those options. So if you have defenders that are dropping in, why not take a chance from distance?
Monterey Bay with 25 minutes left. Not done yet, but can they get another one back? That's the key question. Certainly going to keep trying. Here's Enriquez. Donor's available. That took a deflection on the way through. Jansen Wilson with the header away. Not definitively cleared yet. Enriquez. Lazzi for Martinez. It's a good step by Elijah Winder, and Louisville have a chance to go up the other end with Gleedle. Harris makes the run. Serrano's going to play in Gleedle instead. Can Gleedle get there? No, it's a brilliant challenge again from Alex Lara, and Monterey Bay gets the throw.
That ball just needed a bit more shape. Taking it wider, seemed a bit narrow, and gave the opportunity to Alex Lara to get on the ball and win that tackle.
Tosh may have gone out of bounds first. Gives us a chance to tell you more about Advanced ENT. Ahead of the curve, relief around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. Advanced ENT and allergy.com. "23 minutes plus stoppage time left. All 4 goals came in the first half. But there's been many more opportunities in half number 2. That was played out wide by Wilson. It never got to Gleedle. Moby Fair leads Monterey Bay the other direction here. Finds Michael Gonzalez. Gonzalez tries to play in Maury Donor, but Amadou Dia gets there first. And Loss clears it out for a throw-in to the Seasiders.
And with the exchange of chances that each of these teams are having, it's going to be about which one's going to convert their opportunity, because this game, at the tempo and the pace that it's being played at, you feel like there's another goal coming. This isn't ending 3-1. So for Monterey Bay, you have to make it that you are the team that scores and cuts into this lead and changes the narrative and puts the pressure on Lou City. Or for Lou City, do you go and find that goal that makes it so much more difficult for Monterey Bay to mount a comeback?
Felt like in the first half, every sentence we said led to a goal.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of chances in this second half, but scoreline hasn't changed since the halftime break. Not yet. Arturo Ordonez threads the ball through for Dia. Brilliant pass, and then Serrano helps it along for Wilson Harris. And then Harris tried to continue moving it forward, but it was cut out. And then Enriquez gives it back to Lou City. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have to this point. Just over 20 minutes to go at Lynn Family Stadium. Louisville pushing for what could be a killer blow here to sealing the points. Points that could take Louisville back to the top of the East and all of the USL Championship. But Monterey Bay have fight left in them. Can they make it a very intriguing and interesting final 20? Taylor Davila has time and space here. Dia, first time ball. It took a ricochet. And it's caught by Anthony Siaha. Still 2-2 in Tampa Bay. So again, those are the results that Louisville need to get back to the top.
Tampa Bay sitting in third in the Eastern Conference, and a team that Monterey Bay are gonna match up with in their next game as they host the Rowdies. They have 2 Eastern Conference opponents after Lou City, Tampa Bay and Birmingham.
Gonzalez couldn't find Enriquez. Two changes coming up here for Louisville, and Monterey Bay are going to make a change as well. Jerry Ione is going to come on for Jesus Enriquez. It's a Fortuna substitution. They all are Fortuna substitutions, of course. That change is happening now. Dylan Maris and Niall McCabe are both coming on for Louisville. Taylor Davila and Wilson Harris are coming out. And that leaves Louisville with 1 change remaining. Frank Yallop has 2 changes remaining for Monterey Bay. So now most of the key Louisville protagonists have made way for some fresh legs. The only one remaining is Elijah Winder, who gave Louisville the 3-1 lead.
But this is where Lou City continues to display not only their depth, but their identity on the ball and offensively, because we mentioned it in the open, the balance within the scoring attack, and you bring in Dylan Maris, you bring in now McCabe, changes out wide with Jensen Wilson. And those are players that come in and influence how this attack is played out as well, and so they're going to want to play with tempo. They're going to want to create opportunities for themselves.
Ray Serrano caught offside for Louisville. That gives Monterey Bay the possession back. They'll need all of it they can get, the Seasiders, down the stretch.
It's getting to that point where it's now or never when you're going to start making a move for Monterey Bay, because it's going to be difficult if you hit that 10-minute mark and you're still down 2 goals. Trust me, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but and we did mention in the first half that those final 14 minutes of each half, that's where Lou City have been a bit more susceptible to conceding.
Good run there from Chavignolazzi, but Walmer Martinez loses out to Dylan Maris. Good first contribution from the substitute. Here's Amadou Dia. Tries to bend one into the path of Sam Gleadle. Alex Lara is all over it, although it last hits off of Lara, and that's actually going to be a Louisville corner. Works out in the end for the hosts. Alex Lara's put in a shift, to put it lightly, giving everything he's got to keep Monterey Bay in this.
They have had to cover some ground tonight. Not even just with the interchange, but times that Lou City have played in behind. It's about unbalancing them.
Wi-Fi corner for Niall McCabe. Louisville looking to slam the door shut. Great ball in. Monterey Bay get the first header onto it. It was volleyed and blocked. A chance for the Union to come the other way here. Ione is cute touch by Gonzalez, but he keeps it going. Moby Fair. Up ahead, Tristan Traeger lets it go. Lets it fly out of play. 6 goals this season. You let him take those from time to time, but maybe Monterey Bay could have gotten a little bit more there.
Yeah, and you're running into 15 minutes left in a match, down 2 goals. You need somebody to flip the script and make a play, and I think that's what the Union are counting on, and they're trying to create it. Just need that final piece of the execution.
Fans head to Twitter to vote for tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/Lou City. Going to be a tough decision for man of the match tonight. Jake Morris comes to mind, Aiden McFadden as well. It's up to you all at home, making the tough choices tonight.
Oh, Jake Morris, that rocket of a goal, but you have Aiden McFadden sitting on 2 goal contributions.
Traeger tried to get a contribution there. Ione arrived, but again, Louisville plugs it up. Traeger, great effort, wins the ball back. Ione held back by Tosh. Baca switches it over here to the near side. Maury Donor Kai Green getting involved. It's the highest up he's been tonight in the attacking sense. Gonzalez. Kai Green. For Donors, Louisville slowly trying to push Monterey Bay away. Lara. Baca bends it to the near side, and again, Amadou Diaz all over it.
City have just been relentless with their touch-tight pressure.
Monterey Bay started with that ball on the edge of the penalty area. Louisville tactically pushed them back into their own end. That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, and that's what they've done throughout this night. They've guided Monterey Bay into settling for different areas, and then, as you mentioned, starting that play in the final third, and then having to restart after restart after restart, and then just conceding the goal kick here to Damian Loss.
Update on the game in Tampa Bay in a second, but here comes Monterey Bay. Played across, but there's nobody home for the Seasiders. Gonzalez tried to pick somebody out, and Louisville will take that, and they'll take possession back. The update is that the Charleston Battery are down to 10 men, and the Rowdies have a 3-2 lead after being down by 2 after 15 minutes. So it's looking more and more likely, pending this result, of course, that Louisville will get exactly the result they need to soar back to the top.
3 unanswered for Tampa Bay Rowdies.
That's impressive.
And we see it from top teams in every league, the USL Championship. I mean, you see it in other sports, that when you have balance on both sides of the ball, when you can score and you can defend, those are teams that are going to have sustained success over a season.
Nice ball ahead for Serrano. Serrano plays it Niall McCabe. And Niall McCabe was just a step behind.
And to score 3 goals against a team in Charleston Battery that lead the league in 11 clean sheets.
Battery, I believe, play Indy next at home. That's going to be a gigantic game late next week. With hierarchy in the East up for grabs there in the Low Country. Meanwhile, Rhode Island came back tonight to beat North Carolina. They were 1-0 down. They won 2-1. And Birmingham Legion, sticking in the East, big 3-0 win over Orange County. That puts them back on track as far as the postseason picture is concerned for them. 10 minutes left here. Louisville again on the attack. Jansen Wilson had it blocked. Oh, it's played back across, and Glito scores against his former club. It comes full circle for Sam Glito. He scored against Louisville for Monterey Bay 2 years ago. He scores against Monterey Bay for Louisville in the Lynn Family Stadium rematch. And Lou City surely have sealed the points. It's 4-1 to the boys in purple.
And Sam Glito has been knocking at the doorstep. Not necessarily in chances created and testing Anthony Siaha, but he has done it with the press. He's done it with some opportunities from distance. He's asked a lot of different questions and put himself in a lot of positive positions. And this ball parried right to his feet, and that's what happens when you play with that opportunistic eye, where you're just, as soon as the ball hits the final third, you're looking around and you're finding what area is the most dangerous. How do I access it?
It's Sam Glito's 3rd goal of the season. It's presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky lottery as Alex Lara has just run himself into the ground tonight for the Seasiders. Is struggling to continue here. Monterey Bay have given everything to just hang around, but Louisville, frankly, have put them to the sword tonight.
They have. They've done it with fluid movement. I mean, the understanding and the identity of the roles, and I say roles, but it is such a collaborative force that Lou City are playing with right now. The freedom. And we've seen the movement from Ray Serrano. We've seen the pressure and the movement from Sam Gleadle, and now rewarding himself with a goal tonight. We've seen the work that this midfield does, the back line, the playmaking ability. I mean, we go back to maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, the play from Ordonez out of the back to find Jake Morris out wide. I mean, when you have 3 center backs that have that kind of range and that kind of ability to unlock spaces higher up the field, I mean, that's hard to defend. And you mentioned it with Alex Lara being, putting the workload in tonight. They've been caught chasing tonight because they've just been unable to make that next pass predictable. And
Gonzalez, that took a ricochet, and Las makes the catch. Louisville 2024 season ticket packages are still available. Lou City's next home match is July 30th at 8 p.m. Bring your family and friends to Lynn Family Stadium when the boys in purple face the mighty Eintracht Frankfurt. Tickets are available at loucity.com/tickets. Some recent European royalty coming to Lynn Family Stadium. Recent Europa League winners, Eintracht Frankfurt. McCabe to Amadou Dia. You can see where he was trying to place it. Maury Donor gets there, but Amadou Dia is able to get the ball back. Sharpie. Louisville recycle it all the way back to Turo Ordonez. Played up ahead. Jansen Wilson. Winder. Spinning around. Tosh for Gleadle. Gleadle into the middle. That was an opportunity. It's behind Serrano, and Siaha just about clears it away. But again, Louisville win the ball back. Going to see it cleared by Kai Green.
And with this result, Monterey Bay's woes against the East continue. This would put him at 1-5-2 against the Eastern Conference.
Dia. And it blocked away. It's going to go out for a throw, and there's some substitutions upcoming. 2 for Monterey Bay. Anthony Orendine is going to come on for Tristan Traeger. And Alex Lara, what an effort from him. He's going to come out. Carlos Guzman, good to have him back in the fold from a Monterey Bay perspective. He will come back in. And then Carlos Mogel Jr. is going to come on for Louisville. He's going to replace the goal scorer, Elijah Winder. 3 changes in all. Brought to you by Fortna. While Mogel comes on, brief Western Conference update, because Monterey Bay will drop points here. Orange County lost. Sac Republic won. That's a little bit further up the table. Memphis leading San Antonio in the second half by a 0-0, and it's 1-1 in El Paso. Locomotive and New Mexico. That could be a potential story. brewing as the night moves along. So Monterey Bay maybe don't lose any ground, but maybe lose a little bit of morale tonight.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, it doesn't get any easier as you bring in the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Good call, yeah.
And you play another team in the East after that, in Birmingham, that I think everybody still has some questions about.
Another good ball in. Louisville continue to be relentless. Siaha clears. Lou City's season total is now up to 52 goals with that Gleedle conversion, and they want more and more. It's going to be a foul. Free kick for Monterey Bay, won by Gonzalez.
And what'll be disappointing for Monterey Bay, and we've got plenty of games to play still, and we've talked about how congested the Western Conference are. But you look at that record against the East, if this result stands, the 1-5-2, 2 of those 5 losses against the East are against 2 teams that are below the playoff line in the Eastern Conference. In Hartford, who sit at 18 points in the East, and then North Carolina, who just had that loss to Rhode Island.
USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network, ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. That game, by the way, has gone final in St. Petersburg. There was over 12 minutes of stoppage time in that game, by the way, which is why we're just getting around to telling you the final score. The Rowdies scored again. They won it by 4-2 over the Battery. So in a minute and a half plus stoppage here, Louisville will, barring a miracle, of course, climb back to the top of the entire USL Championship for now.
4 unanswered goals from the Rowdies.
Yeah, Robbie Nielsen's got them playing pretty darn well. Louisville knows that, of course, from their first meeting.
And the explosive offenses coming from the East. I mean, you look at, we've talked about Lou City, you look at Charleston, what they're doing, and then Rowdies right there in the mix. Those 3 teams amongst the 3 highest scoring teams in the league.
We are sure going to be in for 2 wild pushes to the playoffs in the East and the West as these next weeks and months go by. Here's Amadou Dia as we approach stoppage time at the end of what's been a scintillating performance from Louisville City. From start to finish, really. Jake Morris scored the first goal back in the 3rd minute. 4 minutes later, Wilson Harris made it 2. Moby Fair got one back, but it's been all Louisville since. As Maris was given way too much time and space, but it soars over Siaha. And we are going to go into 2 added minutes remaining.
This is a Lou City side that just continue to play with such urgency, with such pace, such tempo. That's their identity. That's their standard, is playing each minute as if it's 0-0. They don't play the score line. What's the opponent giving them? How can they expose that moment? I guess that's how you're at 52 goals on the season. But it is interesting because looking at it now, New Mexico United, who sit at top of the West, they're only a +3 goal differential. Going into tonight, you see they scored at El Paso, so they'll have 25 goals on the season, but they also conceded. So they had the 21 goals against, the 22 now. And then in the East, it's just such a discrepancy between +28 coming into the night for Lou City. Obviously that number's changed. Charleston, same thing, +22, +17 for the Tampa Bay Rowdies going into the night.
About 30 seconds left of the 2 added minutes presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Is there to be a cherry on top of this Sunday for Louisville? Dia into the middle. Ogel not able to get there in time. McCabe serves it out to the far side. Jansen Wilson is there in the final seconds, and looks like Louisville, well, pass this one out to completion. Ooh, that was in for Gleedle. Siaha grabs it, and that is full time here at Lynn Family Stadium. A wonderful performance from Louisville from start to finish, and they are back atop the Eastern Conference and atop the league in the USL Championship. They pick up their 14th win of the season, and that means you can head to any participating Louisville area Wendy's tomorrow to get your free small Frosty. No purchase necessary. It's all smiles. Danny Cruz, I'm sure, will be thrilled with how Louisville played tonight. Monterey Bay will have to go back to the drawing board after one of the top Lou City performances we have seen this season.
Yeah, comprehensive performance from Danny Cruz and his side. They're going to be disappointed with conceding the goal to Monterey Bay, but they're going to be very happy with the response after conceding the goal.
Man of the match, you voted on it. In Family Sports Medicine and Performance Center, it is going to be Jake Morris. He scored a rocket of a goal in the 3rd minute and was in and amongst much of the positives tonight.
Just changed the energy and the momentum early on, Jake Morris did.
He was a huge part of the positives for Lou City in the attack. As we look at tonight's move of the game, it's presented by Toyota. It was Lou City's 2nd goal. I mean, take your pick. All the goals that Louisville scored were tremendous. It's going to be that 2nd goal from Wilson Harris in the 7th minute.
And a delivery by Aiden McFadden, who had 2 assists on the night. The assist on the 1st goal, and then just a few minutes later, this assist to Wilson Harris. Terrific delivery.
From beginning to end, it was really all Louisville. There was some glimmers of hope from Monterey Bay that they can build on, but it's a comprehensive victory for Danny Cruz's side, and they sit atop the entirety of the USL Championship with the most points and the most wins. Louisville wins it by 4-1. We'll step aside before we come back and wrap things up from Lynn Family Stadium in Kentucky.
It's your thing. Do what you wanna do.
Kroger, fresh for everyone.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the 3rd health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I'm finally feeling control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Summertime gives you a lot of choices of places to go and things to do. That's why Toyota gives you the power of choice with 4 different electrified powertrains that give you more hybrid choices than anyone else. Like the hybrid version of the best-selling RAV4 with its very impressive driving range. This summer, get a new 24 RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 4.99 APR financing. Or lease one for $339 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance. The choice is yours. Toyota, let's go places.
Tonight's postgame is presented to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, your entire crew back here to wrap things up between Louisville and Monterey Bay. One of the best performances we've seen from Lou City this season, and that's saying something. Let's recap it with the full-time highlights. And, Coach, we begin in the 3rd minute with a mash from Jake Morris.
Yeah, and it was from the jump that Lou City was playing with such energy and such tempo. And first impressions to matches is real. When you can get off to a start that Lou City got off to and then have a strike like this, how aren't you energized and playing with that momentum? And it continued off the foot of that man, Aiden McFadden, with another delivery from that wide area, and then the finish by Wilson Harris collecting his 12th goal of the season and putting his team up 2-0. And then it was this goal for Monterey Bay, who did a good job of making first contact in the 18-yard box and making and challenging Lou City to make some of those decisions. Tristan Traeger, good layoff to Moby Fair. They pulled the game back to 1 goal, but the response from Lou City, the delivery here by Taylor Davila, the slightest of touches by Elijah Winder, restores this 2-goal lead before the break and recaptured momentum as well, because you almost felt like air was taken out of the stadium when Monterey Bay scored, because it was a bit of a shock with how much they were playing on the front foot. And then to cap it all off, Sam Gleadle, who had asked so many different questions throughout the night with the pressure, the creativity, the ability to link up with his teammates, puts himself right out top, that 6-yard box, just hammers that one home for the 4th goal of the night.
Add it all up, and it's a Louisville 4-1 victory that takes Lou City back to the top of the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship, and it has them as the top team in the league as a whole.
And we highlighted that CBS game between Detroit City, and that's going to be a tough one because now they've gotten to put themselves where they tied for Rhode Island, but Lou City sit atop of the East and just continue to play with such tempo.
It's going to be interesting to see how that top 3 or 4 shakes out. Birmingham now enter that conversation. We'll see if Detroit, Rhode Island, maybe Loudoun could also be in there. And on top of that, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Hartford, who's going to maybe challenge for that 7th or 8th spot as we get towards the months of August and September in the USL Championship. But we all know this, Louisville City are the class of the USL Championship. They've been for so long. They epitomized that tonight from start to finish, and they roll Monterey Bay in a 4-1 victory to get back to the top of not just the East, but the entirety of the USL Championship. For Eric Dobransky and our entire crew, Sean St. Jacques saying so long from Louisville. Lou City are back on top for now in the league.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.